So what is the next thing that I have? Expression. Expressions are nothing but the test conditions. Let me just give A is greater than. So when a program breaks the sequential flow and jumps to another part of the code is what I will call it as branching. Okay, I will give the test condition. Here. What exactly test condition is all about? What is unconditional branching? So you are not checking any condition there. So directly based on something, so you are branching. So I have this condition. What is the condition? A is greater than 10. So if this condition is true, I will execute this block. Suppose hello everyone, I welcome all of you to the first session on control structure. What exactly this chapter is all about? This is very, very important and you will learn a lot in fact in this chapter. So this chapter will give you a different dimension for programming in fact is what I would like to tell you. So my dear students, have a notepad next to you. Whatever the concepts that I am discussing, please make note of all those important points. This will help you a lot to you. Alright, so let's understand this chapter. So let me start this. What exactly I have for the day. So in this session, I will be discussing what exactly decision making with if statements. So what is that if statements is all about and why do I use the if statements? So that is the first thing that I'm going to discuss here. And the second one is simple if. We have different types of if statements. So I will be starting with the first one, that is simple if. The second one that I have here is if else statement. In this session, I will be discussing in detail with respect to these two statements. So with an example, so please make a note of all the important points. So without wasting much of your time, let me get into the session. So what exactly the branching statements is all about? Let's understand that first. So when a program breaks the sequential flow and jumps to another part of the code is what I will call it as branching. What exactly it means, sir? So please understand. Imagine I have the lines. Let me just change the color for all of you so that imagine this is my program. I have the lines of programs like this. Okay. How do I execute? So I will be executing line by line, right? So let's imagine like that. First I will execute this line and this line and this line. Then I'll go to this line. Then I will go to this line. Then I'll go to this line. Then I'll come to this. So this is what I will call it as sequential. Sequential in the sense executing the statements one by one. After executing this, after executing the first statement, I will come to the second one. After executing the second statement, I will come to the third one. That is what I will call it as sequential. So please understand what is that I have here. When a program breaks the sequential, what is the meaning of it? So you are not executing sequentially. You're not executing continuously. You are breaking the sequential and you're jumping to the different part of the program. So that is what I will call it as branching. Say for example, you are executing this. Okay. So from here, you will jump to this line. You are skipping this pun. So this is what I will call it as branching. This is what I will call it as branching. So please understand this. That's what you need to remember with respect to branching. How do I do this branching now? So please understand there are two types of branching. One is conditional branching. Another one is unconditional branching. I have two types of branching. One is conditional branching. Another one is unconditional branching. When it comes to conditional branching, you are branching. Branching in the sense you are moving to the different part of the program based on a condition. Hope you got my point. So now, what is unconditional branching? So you are not checking any condition there. So directly based on something, so you are branching. I will discuss about unconditional branching in the coming sessions. So we have go-to statements, labels, break. So continue. All those things comes under a concept of unconditional branching. Answer. What is that? Don't worry as of now. Okay. So we have two types of branching. That is what you should understand. How many types of branching we have? Two types of branching. The first one is conditional branching. Second one is unconditional branching. When it comes to conditional branching, my dear students, you need to understand one thing, that is, based on condition you are trying to branch. Branch in the sense you are trying to skip the execution of the statements. So fine, you're moving to some part of the program based on condition. That is what you need to remember. I will repeat this statement for you. You are moving to some part of the program based on the condition. So that is what we call it as a branching. So fine, let's understand. So we have decision making with if statement. The first statement that we have in conditional branching is with if statements. When I have if statements, what exactly if statements is all about? So please understand this. Let me just explain you this. I have if. What is that I have? If. When I have if, so the if is a keyword that I have to be treated as. What is that? If, in the sense it is a keyword. You have to write the if as it is. Then for this if, I will have the parenthesis. I have to open the parenthesis here, and whatever the things that I have, so I have to close it. So here I will give the test condition. What is that I will give? I will give the test condition. I want all of you to write down this. Okay, I will give the test condition here. What exactly test condition is all about? So let me show you this. So please observe, what is this test condition? What is that I'm speaking with respect to? If I have A is equal to 10, let me take the same old example. All right. So if, okay, if A is greater than 9, okay, so print F high. What is that I'm doing here? What is that I'm doing here? Please observe. Please observe the syntax. I have to use the keyword if. Let me change the color for you so that you will understand clearly. Okay, what is that I have here? I have the keyword here. What is the keyword? You have to use the keyword if. So you have to use the keyword if. So fine. After that, you will open the parenthesis and you will close the parenthesis. In between, so you will give the condition. This is what I will call it as test condition. So my test condition is A is greater than 9. What exactly it means? This condition I will test. This is the condition that I have to test. If A is, you need to understand the general English. If this is true, okay, you do this. I will repeat, if this condition is true, then only you do this. That is how this if statement is working. Let me show you this. What is the condition that I have here? A is greater than 19. If this is true, what is A value here? A is 10. Is it true? Yes, it is true. So this if statement will check whether the given condition is true or false. I will repeat, whatever the condition that I have given here, so this if statement will check whether the given condition is true or false. So that is what this if statement is doing. That is what this if statement is doing. That is what you need to understand. So fine, I have A is greater than 9. A is greater than 9. My condition is true in this case. What happens? So whatever I have within this flower bracket, please observe this flower bracket. I have given the flower bracket. So whatever I have within this flower bracket, so I have only one statement. So this statement will be executed when this condition is true. Suppose if this condition is not true, if this condition is false, I will have some other statements here. I will write some other statements. So it will start executing from this statement. This part, whatever I have, so this part will be skipped if this condition is false. You got my point? So when will I execute this? So I will execute this part only if the condition is true. If the condition is false, this part will be branched. Branched in the sense, forcefully it will move to the next part of the program. This is what I will call it as a branching. So I am skipping this part of the statements. That's what you need to remember. All right. So this is what I will call it as a simple if. So please make a note of it. What is that I have? So this is what I will call it as simple if. This is what I will call it as simple if. So fine. Let's check what is that I have. So flow chart for the simple if. So they will ask you in the exam, write the flow chart for the simple if. You should be able to write this. I think I have shown you how to write the flow chart. What is the notations that we use to write the flow chart in the previous session? I think in the beginning session, session number 2, introduction session 2. So fine. In that I have this. So please understand what exactly they have given in the flow chart. So this is the entry level. Okay. So here, whenever I'm using this, okay, so this is what I will call it as a rhombus symbol. This is what I will call it as a rhombus symbol. Whenever I want to test any condition, I will be using this symbol. I will be using this symbol. So here, whatever the test condition that I have, I will be writing it here. Suppose if the condition is true, okay, I will be executing this statements. What I had here, I had print f. Let's imagine with respect to the previous example. What is that I have? So if the condition is true, I should print f high. Okay, this is what I have to execute. So if the condition is true, so this statement will be executed. Suppose if the condition is false, okay, if the condition is false, it will skip this. Okay, it will start executing this statement. So in the same way, if the condition is false, it will start executing some other statements. It will skip this one. It will not come to this part at all. So it will directly go to some other statement. It will start executing. So this is the flow chart for simple if. This is the flow chart of simple if. That is what you have to understand at this point of time with respect to the flow chart of simple if. So please write down this. So I will, I'll just, or you can just take a screenshot of it. I'll just move out of the screen. Okay. So this is the general form. That's what I have already discussed. So please remember this. So fine. Hope you have taken the screenshot. So moving on to the next thing that I have. So guys, so this is the simple if general syntax. So what is this? General syntax. Whatever I have written in the first slide. So that's what they call it as general form of simple if statement, or we can also call it as general syntax. So please write down this general syntax. Using this syntax, I have written that simple program which I had given as an example. That's what you need to remember. What is that I have given here? So please understand this example, general syntax. Using this general syntax, I will write the code for you now. Okay. So what is that I have here? I have if statement. What is that I have to write? I will write the if keyword. All right. So what is the next thing that I have? Expression. Expressions are nothing but the test conditions. Let me just give a is greater than 10. Okay. A is greater than 10. That is what I will give. So next, what is that I have? I have open flower bracket. Okay. What is the next thing I have? Statement block. Statement block in the sense I can have more than one statement. Statement block in the sense what? I can have more than one statement, or statement block in the sense a block of statements or a group of statements. That is what I will call it as a statement block. That's what you need to remember here. So fine, I have a print f high. Okay, that is the statement that I have here. After that, I will close the flower bracket. What is that I will close the flower bracket. Then next, I will have some other statement like, print f outside the block. Okay, so that's what I have here. Double quotes close. So this is statement X. N number of statements here you can have. Here also n number of statements you can have. That is not an issue. But what is the syntax that you follow? So this, whatever I have written here, this is mandatory. You need to maintain this syntax. But inside, whenever you are writing inside any statement, so statements, when it comes to statements, it is up to you. According to the program, according to the logic, you can write any statements. That is very, very important. So hope you understood the simple if. Whenever I say simple if, three things should come to your mind. The first thing is general form. What is the first thing that will come to you? General form. This is what you have to understand. The first thing. The second thing it should come to your mind is flowchart. What is the second thing that you will understand? The flowchart of the if statement. What is the third thing that you will write? So please understand. So you will write an example like this. Write the example. Am I being clear? This is very, very important when it comes to simple if statement. Moving on to the next concept that we have. What is the next concept that we have? I think I have already discussed a simple if. The next one that we have is if-else statement. What is the next one that we have? If-else statement. Please understand, in the previous example, I told you or I discussed something like this. A is equal to 10. If A is greater than 10, okay, print high. Okay, this is what I have discussed. Let me just raise it. Print F high. All right, so this is what we have done. Okay, this is what we have discussed in my previous example. What happens here? If A is greater than 10, if this condition is true, only then you execute this. So if this condition is true, only then you execute this. So I will call this as true block. I will call this as true block. So my dear students, so please understand, I will call this as true block. But I'm specifying what should happen if this condition is true. But I have not specified what should happen if this condition is false. So that is very important. That is very important. So please understand that. So how do I solve this problem? So for that reason, I have something called if-else statement. I have something called if-else statement. So please understand that. Then how do we use if-else statement? What is the syntax of this? So let's understand. So I have called this as true block. What did I say? I've called this as true block. Let's understand. So how exactly I should add the else block? So it's simple. When I have if-else, you will just write else part here. What is the keyword that you will write? You will write else. Then after that, you'll open the parenthesis, you will close the parenthesis. Okay, so here you can write whatever the statements that you have. Print F, so false. I'll just print false. Okay, so now you need to understand one thing. So I have this condition. What is the condition? A is greater than 10. So if this condition is true, I will execute this block. Suppose if this condition is false, it will execute this block. So when it is false, it will not execute this block, it will execute only this block. If the condition is true, it will execute only this block, not this block. It will not execute this block. So that is what you need to remember when it comes to if-else. What is that? So in the simple if, I don't have the false block, I have only the true block. But when it comes to simple if, when it comes to if-else, I have both true block as well as false block. That's what you need to understand when it comes to this kind of if-else. So fine. So you understood the example and also the general syntax. The general syntax goes like this. What is the general syntax you have? So if you have test expression or the condition, whatever you want, you can call it. Then after that, so I will call this as true block statements. Sir, how many statements can I have, sir? Again, you can have group of statements, n number of statements, whatever you want, you can write. But that will be executed only if the condition is true. That's what you need to remember. So fine. After that, I have else block. After that, what I have? Else block. So what you will have in the else block? So false block of statement. When the condition fails, what is that I have to do? After that, say for example, once I'm done with this, I will have the statement X. The normal program starts here. Okay. So rest of the program will have here. So you can keep executing the rest of the programs. So this is how you need to remember the general form of if-else. This is the general form of if-else. So please understand general form of if-else. So please make a note of it. So you have to write down this. Very important. So hope you understood what is the general form of if-else. So moving on to the flow chart. Of if-else. So please understand, moving on to the flow chart of if-else. How exactly we write this flow chart for this? So what is that first we are doing here? So we are testing the condition. What is that we are doing? We are testing the condition. whenever we are testing the condition, I have two possibilities. One is true, another one is false. So that's what I have taken here. I'm just testing the condition. So I have two possibilities. One is false, another one is true. If the condition is true, I will execute some set of statements. If the condition is false, I'll execute some other set of statements. So after that, I will come to some other next statements. I will start executing the other next statements. This is what you need to understand. This is what you need to understand with respect to the flowchart of if-else statement. Flowchart of if-else statement. By this, I have come to an end of this session, my dear students. So please practice flowchart, general form, and an example for each different type of if statements. In my next session, I will be discussing the next type of if statements. So till then, keep waiting. Bye bye.